Alright, so we're working with some ratio tables today. Yesterday we introduced ratios and comparing two different things. So we're going to keep working with that today, except it's just going to be in a table instead. And the only way that I could really do this was with the handout that I posted on Canvas, and I have it printed off right here. So we're just going to be looking at that today. So I'm not actually going to be writing anything in our notebook. But when we finish with this handout, I'm just going to take this straight into the notebook, so that will count as my notes for today. All right, so you are more than welcome to use a calculator for this, so please have your calculator ready if you have one. All right, so this is a ratio table, and I know it just looks like a regular table to you, so it's kind of a trick that all these tables your entire mathematical career have been ratio tables. So the whole point of these ratio tables is that you're trying to find the connection. You're trying to figure out what is the connection to get me from this side to this side. This is a strange word that you might not have heard before, but in middle school we call it multiplicative reasoning. And hopefully you can hear the key word in that phrase is multiplicative, so that would be multiply. Typically in elementary school, when you saw tables or charts, you always had to add or subtract. To find that pattern or to find missing. But for this one, now that you're in middle school, things are going to be a little bit different. Most of the time, like 95% of the time, there's going to be some type of connection with multiplying or dividing. So that's what you're going to be looking for. So if we start with this table right here, it says the chart shows the amount of money Danielle earns babysitting after a certain number of hours. So obviously we can see if she works 2 hours, she gets $24. She works 4 hours, she gets $48. And we're trying to figure out how many hours does she work to get $96. And this is all equivalent, so it's not like it's changing each time. So we try to figure out the connection. How do I get from one side to the other? What is the connection between the two sides? So in other words, you're thinking, okay, I'm going from 2 to 24. I'm going from 4 to 48. What is the connection between those two things? And like I told you, it's going to be multiplying or dividing, so it depends on which way you're going. So hopefully you understand that to go from 2 to 24, you have to multiply by 12. Same thing for 4. To go from 4 to 48, you multiply by 12. So the pattern seems to be multiplying by 12. So something down here, I need to be able to multiply by 12 to get to that 96. Well, the opposite of multiplication, I hope we know, is division. So now I can just take my calculator, I'm using one of these blue ones for today, is 96 divided by 12 gives me 8. Now what I like to do is I like to put it here, but then I like to double check just to make sure. So is 8 times 12 really going to give me 96? And yeah, okay. Another way to think about it, if we write this as a ratio, so remember this was one way. One way to write it was 2 to 24, and then I have 4 to 48, and then I have 8 to 96. If I simplified every single one of these ratios, they would simplify to the exact same thing. They're all going to simplify down to 1 to 12. Okay? So that shows me that that's the relationship, that's the connection to get from one side to the other. So the question says, at this rate, how many hours must Danielle babysit to earn $96? And that would be 8 hours. Okay, so let's look at another one. I will say, going back to this real quick, a common mistake, because this is normally a multiple choice question, I just took off the answer choices so that we could solve them together. But a common mistake people make here is they don't really pay attention to the numbers. They just see 2, 4, and the next one they want to put is 6. So please make sure you're actually looking to find that connection and you're not just looking at the numbers. All right, next one. It says Vernon downloads games on his phone every month. Each game costs the same amount. Okay, that's important. Okay, every game costs the same amount. All right. So in January, he downloaded 14 games. He spent $56. February, he downloaded 23 games, spent $92. We don't know how many games he downloaded in March, but we do know he spent $116. And then in April, he bought 19 games and spent $76. Okay, well, off the top of your head, you might not know the connection. You might not know what it takes to get from 14 to 56. What can you figure that out? Well, you can just take your calculator and let's see what we can do. So if I do 56, which is just this number right here, divide by 14, I get 4. Okay, so maybe the connection is 4. Maybe every time I'm multiplying by 4, but I can't just stop with the first one and assume that's it. I need all of them so that they're all the same. So if we're saying the connection is 4, which is what I just found in this calculus, that I should be able to multiply 23 by 4 and get 92. So let's see. 23 times 4 does equal 92. Okay, but once again, you can't just assume that it's going to work every time. You have to check the last one that you know as well. So the last one is 19 times 4 does equal 76. So it seems to be that every time I'm multiplying by 4, that is my connection. Okay, so now I just need to figure out, okay, well, what times 4 is going to give me 116? Well, I don't know that off the top of my head, but now that I found the connection, I can just do the inverse or the opposite to figure it out. Well, what's the opposite of multiplying by 4? And hopefully you know that that would be dividing by 4. So I'm going to take this 116 divided by 4, and I get 29. So that should mean that this is 29, but let's just double check to make sure. Let's do 29 times 4, and I do get 116. So it also kind of makes sense. Like if I had gotten like, I don't know, 15 for this right here, it wouldn't have made much sense because I'm spending the most money that I've ever spent, but I'd be paying for less games. So it makes sense that I'm buying the most games out of every month, and I'm spending the most money. Okay? So this would be how many games did he download? He downloaded 29 games. Okay? All right, let's look at the next one. The chart shows the cost for a certain number of pencils. At this rate, what is the cost of 15 pencils? So this one doesn't have a missing spot in the chart. We just have to figure out what the connection is and use it for me. Now it's important to figure out which side of the chart you're talking about. They're asking me about 15 pencils. So does the 15 go on the number of pencil side or does cost side? Hopefully you realize it goes on the pencils side. So this was 15. So this is what I'm looking for. But once again, before I can get there, I have to find my connection. I have to figure out what it takes to get from one side to the other. Well, once again, I have no idea what times 4 is going to give me 72 cents. So I need to do some division to figure out what goes there. Now, if you were in my classroom, I would say this a gazillion times over the next several weeks. When you are dividing, money always goes first. Okay, I don't care that this number comes first in the chart. When you're doing money, money always goes first. I don't care that this number is smaller. You always put money first. So when I'm doing this division, even though it's smaller, I'm going to do 0.72 divided by 4, and I get 18. All right, so I'm going to write that so that I don't forget it. Because remember, that might be the common number that's getting used every single time. So let's see. Let's check the next one. So $1.08 divided by 6. Okay, so my pattern's looking good, but let's just make sure with the last one. So $1.62 divided by 9, once again, is 18. So what this is telling me is that for one pencil, it costs 18 cents. So if I just wanted to buy one pencil, it'd be 18 cents. So therefore, if I bought 2 pencils, it'd be 36 cents. So every time, you're adding that 18 cents. So if I wanted to take the really long way of this problem, I could do 18 cents. I could 18 15 times. So I don't want to do that. That takes too long. So therefore, I'm going to multiply 18 cents times 15. And I get 2.7. Now, on the calculator, it puts it as 2.7, but we know with money, we always need 2 places. So it's going to be $2.70. Okay? All right, let's look at the next one. Sorry, it kind of bled through, so it might be a little hard to see. All right, 4 customers at a grocery store are buying apples. The table shows how many pounds of apples each customer bought and how much each customer paid. After the previous 4 customers, another customer, Timothy, spent $28 buying apples. How many pounds of apples did he buy? Okay, So these are all the people that have already bought apples. We're trying to figure out how many pounds did Anthony buy. So we need to put in the chart the one thing that they've actually told us. They've told us that he spends $28. So let's put that in the right spot in this chart. Okay, so if it's $28, then it has to go here. Okay, and obviously his name's Timothy. We're going to shorten it a little bit. So I'm trying to figure out how many pounds he spent on these apples. Well, this one's a little bit easier. You can see a connection right away. I hope you can, at least. If I'm at 2 pounds, $4, 5 pounds, $10, 3 pounds, $6, 4 pounds, $8. What is the connection? Hopefully you see that the cost is always twice the number of pounds. All right, so every time I'm multiplying by 2. So times 2, times 2, times 2, times 2. So something times 2 needs to give me 28. So what times 2 gives me 28? Well, hopefully you know that off the top of your head, but if you didn't, you could always do the inverse. Remember, do the opposite. Divide it by 2, and I see that it is 14. So that means that Timothy bought 14 pounds, which is crazy, worth of apples. Okay? All right. If 24 members of the bowling club said they were going to attend the meeting, how many bags of chips should John buy to feed everyone? Okay, so we are looking at this table right here. Now this one's kind of confusing because it has a missing spot right here, but it's actually asking about 24 members. So we can fill in this missing spot if we want to, but that's not really what it's asking. So we need to look at what the connection is, okay? So hopefully you'll see right away, 15 members, 5 bags eaten. What's happening? 21, 7, 30, 10, 36, 12. Oh, every single time to get from here to here, I'm dividing by 3. Every single time. Okay? Well, they're asking me about 24 members. So the 24 needs to go in this column right here. Okay, so if there's 24 members, then I need to divide that by 3. 24 divided by 3, hopefully you know that would be 8 bags. Good. 8. Next one, a group of 6 friends went to a baseball game. The table shows the purchases made by the group at the game. How much would it cost to buy 1 ticket, 1 drink, and 1 hot dog? All right, so this might be a little confusing to you, but this one they kind of tell me how much tickets cost, how much a drink costs, and how much a hot dog. But I'm like, we kind of have to figure it out. I know how much 6 tickets cost, but the question only asks me about 1 ticket. So what do I do to figure it out? Well, I can buy 6 tickets for $48. So then how much is 1 ticket? So hopefully you understand that that's a division question. So if I do 48 divided by 6, that tells me that 1 ticket costs $8. Okay? All right, same thing for the drink. They're asking about 1 drink. Well, they've told me that 4 drinks cost $12. I don't want to know about 4 drinks. I want to know about 1 drink. So once again, I would do 12 divided by 4, because remember, money always goes first. And I get $3. Okay? Last one. I can buy 3 hot dogs for $15, but I only care about 1 hot dog. So if I do 15 divided by 3, I get $5. Okay? So let's just pretend that the question said 2 hot dogs. Well, then I would take this and I would just do this times 2. So 2 hot dogs will be $10. 2 drinks will be $6. 2 tickets will be $16. So now that you know how much 1 ticket cost, you can pretty much figure out anything. But the question says how much would it cost to 1 ticket, 1 drink, and 1 hot dog. So all I need to do is add up these 3 numbers right here. So 8 plus 3 plus 5 gives me 16. So they spent $16. All right? All right, I don't have time to finish up the rest, so you can do it for your notes.